Welcome back to SQL Zero to Hero. In this lesson, we will cover the NOT operator, what null values are, and the three-valued logic in SQL. The NOT operator is used in combination with other operators to give the opposite result, also called the negative result. Take a look at our employees table once again. If we wanted to select all records that do not have the name John, we could use the NOT operator with this query. Select star from employees where not name equals John. This tells the database to select all records that do not have the name John. A field with a null value is a field with no value. While designing a database, if null values are allowed for any field or column, they can be left blank if their values are unknown, which leads to null values. We'll explore this further when learning the Insert Into clause in a later lesson. Looking at the columns of our updated employee table, you'll notice that columns like Department, Manager ID, Hire Date, Salary, and Bonus can have null values. When no data is submitted for a particular field, it appears as null in our table. Important to note, null is not zero, it's simply an unknown value. When we graduate from writing queries as analysts to designing actual databases, we'll understand why certain columns like Employee ID typically don't allow null values. For now, let's focus on working with null in queries. If I wanted to select the names of employees whose bonuses are unknown, I would use the query select name from employees where bonus is null. This will output Bob and Charlie, since they're the ones whose bonuses are null or unknown. Notice that we don't use comparison operators like equal to, not equal to, or less than with null. Instead, you must use the expressions is null and is not null. If I write the opposite expression by changing is null to is not null, the output becomes Alice and Diana, since they're the ones with known bonuses of 5,000 and 3,000 respectively. Using our employees table, there's a helpful function we can use when working with null values. If we write the query select name, coalesce bonus, missing as effective bonus from employees, this function produces an output worth examining. Let's understand what the coalesce function does. It simply returns the first non-null value in a list of expressions. It's essentially a way to provide fallback values when dealing with null values. Think of it this way. If the bonus is available, return the value of bonus. However, if it's missing, return the string value missing. If we decided to replace the second argument of coalesce with 0, in other words, if bonus is present, give me bonus, if not, give me 0. You'll see we get the value 0 in places where the bonus value is null. The coalesce function is important for maintaining data integrity, application logic, and user experience, among other benefits, though we won't focus on those details in this lesson. Now that we've discussed the NOT operator and null values, let's briefly explain three-valued logic in SQL. In most everyday logic, things are either true or false. But in SQL, there's a third possibility. Unknown, commonly represented as null. This forms the basis of three-valued logic. How does not interact with three-valued logic? Logically, not true equals false, and not false equals true. But what do you think not null equals? Pause the video and think of an answer. Hopefully, you have an answer now. Not null actually equals null. If a value is unknown and you negate it, the result is still unknown. SQL's three-valued logic is a consequence of supporting null to mark absent data. If a null value affects the result of a logical expression, the result is neither true nor false, but unknown. Let's demonstrate this with our products table. If you were asked, from the products table, Find all products that are in stock. For each product, display the product ID, product name, in-stock status, and a new column called Not in Stock that shows the negation of the in-stock value. In our output data, you'll notice that we selected products with in-stock values that were true, and we negated those values with the not operator to display their opposites in the new column named Not in Stock. If we had selected products with in-stock values of false, their negation would be true. And for products with null in-stock values, their negation would still be null. Remember, if a database has an empty or unknown field, its negation remains null. This is different from using isNotNull in selection queries to find fields that aren't empty. See you in our next lesson.